Jenna, how are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
Yeah.
What have you been up to today on this gloriously windy Torquay day?
I did my washing.
Yeah, no, as you do, yeah.
Like, if I'm going to be honest, I did my washing. I vacuumed my house.
Yep.
I picked nectarines off my tree.
Whoa.
I actually was going to bring you some and I forgot.
I'm
Awkward.
disappointed right now. Why would you say that and then
I
not bring them?
know.
Yeah.
Forgot.
You didn't say you were going to bring them anyway, so I'm
no,
not
I know. It was
disappointed.
going to be a surprise.
Okay.
It was going to be like this real humble, grounding gift that I gave you. And
Okay, guys, we're going to stop this right now because I'm disappointed.
I'm going to drive home, grab the
Yeah.
nectarines, and we'll start again. Picked the nectarines, didn't bring them. I did a bit of journaling, a bit of writing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice.
Listen
No
to music.
artwork?
No art today. Whoa. Yeah, I had an art workshop yesterday, if you could tell by my dirty nails.
Mm-hmm.
So I just needed a little break.
Yep.
Yeah, something you definitely can't force.
Yep.
So no art today, but usually Sunday would be like a big art day for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
So a very soulful day of just kind of doing the things that need to be done. And
I actually find washing and vacuuming quite soulful. Like, I love that stuff. I
I'm
feel like I've got my life together. When
yeah.
I do that stuff.
I'm someone that like I enjoy washing my car. Like because
I don't think I've ever washed my
so I used to work in a car yard and we had to wash them like every day. There was hundreds of cars.
So you just found your passion.
Yeah, well, I'm doing the wrong thing right now. I should have a podcast on car washing.
Yes.
Could be an idea. We've just given that out to the world. Preview coming soon.
Stay
But
tuned.
I used to hate it then because it was like a job.
Yeah.
Now it's like I know what to do. I can make my car clean. So, yeah.
So you're probably going to pass my house on the way back to Melbourne, right? Just drop in.
Bring the sponge and
My
you
car's
can
pretty dirty.
clean my
actually.
car. Look,
Yeah.
we can
What are friends
arrange
for?
we can arrange for something to happen, but probably not tonight.
Okay, cool.
It's a bit windy.
But I know you
Yeah.
like washing cars.
Oh, my birthday's coming up.
That will not slip.
Yeah.
My birthday's in December, but that's okay.
Oh, that's all right. Birthday voucher.
Cool.
Car wash by Carlo. Carlo's car
I was about
wash.
to come up with your tagline for you.
The
You bet me
conscious
to it.
car wash
The conscious car wash by Carlo.
by Carlo.
Bang.
Coffee conversations car wash with Carlo.
Yes, and some cheesels. Like,
It's
just works.
doesn't have the k, it's a ch, but yeah,
Cheese.
that's all right. No, that's a ch as well.
Oh,
K. K.
wow.
K. I was going to say knife, but that would be knife.
Kranskis. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Crayons.
Crayons, yes.
I love it. What are you most excited about in life right now?
Possibilities. I know that
Mhm.
is quite like a broad answer, but I think for a while there, my life was quite structured and I felt almost locked in to things physically and mentally. And now that's not the case anymore. I have like this clean slate and I'm excited about like what is to come.
I'm excited for you. We have had a chat beforehand, so I know
Yeah.
a bit of context behind this.
Yes.
And I'm sure it will come up in my next question, but I don't know much about you. And we met on Instagram, as we do.
Slid into my dear.
As you do on Instagram.
As
Her
you do.
artwork is incredible. That's always my love hearts are like, yes, like I wish I was this talented. And then we've just connected on Instagram, and then we were like, let's do a podcast. Like
Let's do it.
I feel like you have so much to offer and share, and your story. I would love to hear more, and I'm sure for the listeners that don't know who you are, this would be really interesting. So can you give us a wrap up of your life from start to where you are now and everything that you do now, but everything in between as well.
I think it is very interesting. A lot of people have said like these podcasts are going to be very interesting because I only give away a certain part of myself on Instagram.
Yeah. Because we're talking about this before. There's not much of you on there.
No,
Yeah.
so many people don't even know what I look like. This is me.
Guys, you go into the tagged photos
No.
and you find...
There's photos of my dog.
Oops, yeah. Shouldn't have-
Anyway.
yeah. Secret's out.
My life. That's a big question.
It's like a 10-minute wrap-up. I know it could be an hour. But yeah, the important things from kind of start to where you are now.
I had a pretty normal childhood. Like, very happy. Like, nothing sort of stands out to me in terms of, like, anything that impacted me negatively as a child. I had mum, dad, my 2 sisters. Yeah, beautiful upbringing. Went to primary school, high school. And then, I don't know, I wasn't aware of things as a kid. I think I was just always being a kid and living a pretty carefree life. And then obviously I struggled a little bit with myself through high school. Maybe not knowing who I was and what I wanted to do. Like, I remember I went to like the careers. This is always like such a monumental moment in people's lives. Like when you go to the careers office and they say to you, what do you want to be?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not allowed to say you want to be an astronaut. Like, and I ended up doing like hospitality management straight out of high school. And I was like,
Very similar.
cool.
Very similar.
Like, I guess I have to pick something. And then that, like, wasn't a regret. Like, I definitely met people and I learned a lot. And I evolved into learning more about myself and what I didn't want, what I wanted. And then after that, I went away for a little while. I did some traveling, which is always good for finding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cliche. And then I went back and studied interior design and loved it. Just like loved that like design element, creating something out of nothing type thing. And then as that came to an end, my life changed dramatically. And I think for so long I just like lived this carefree, almost blasé life in a sense. Like I was aware of like myself and other people and the world, and I was well educated on all of those sorts of things. But I think in terms of having like these huge life changes and these awful things happen to you, you're just like, it flips you upside down.
Yeah.
In every possible way. So my dad had blood cancer, and then we were obviously told that there would be a large amount of time from being diagnosed to the potential of, you know, things turning really badly, and it all happened within like 6 weeks. So yeah, it just, and I think like you just don't realize how much something like that can affect you. And you don't even realize it at the time. You don't even realize it like 6 months on. You're just like,
Has this even
wow.
happened? Yeah.
Yeah, like I would find myself just like doing something. I'm like, has that actually happened? Like, it's like a tornado situation. So I came out of studying design, had like my dream job in a small firm in Collingwood at a design firm. There was like an architectural firm below. It was an office of 4 people. Like that was my like entire dream throughout studying. And then obviously as things deteriorated with Dad, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And just like took a lot of time off to figure it out.
Yep.
And looking back, I think one of your questions was like, what is the worst thing that's ever happened to you? But somehow
We're jumping a
the
fair
best
bit, but that's
things
okay.
may
Yeah.
have just ruined this podcast.
No. That's okay. We can circle back. Yeah.
Yeah. that was definitely a monumental moment in my life. That changed me massively. But yeah, I did a lot of travel and after that as well, which is nice. Travel is one of the best medicines, I think. You learn so much about yourself, others, and the world. And yeah, after that, I started Love Ludi.
Yep. And what is Love Ludi?
We should have
I only just found this
You
out
should have asked me
before.
on the podcast.
Yeah, I am asking it. What do you mean?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
For the first time. So Ludi is the name of my imaginary friend when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the name, like, essentially is love, whatever my imagination comes up with.
That's your Instagram handle, by the way, for people that don't have
handle.
you. Yep.
Shout out.
Yeah. Cheeky plug.
Yeah. Thanks. $5. Yeah. It's been like I'm so glad I chose that name and I chose that like mindset of how I wanted things to progress, because it's been really helpful in when I have decided to like chop and change what I am doing. Like, I started off as a candle brand. And I think even before that, I got a lot of my followers, like, just from being in South Africa and, like, traveling around Bali, traveling in general, like Europe and all that sort of thing. And then I started doing candles, and then candles led to artwork. So I guess the name in itself has really sort of, like, platformed me to be, like, able to change my mind in whatever I want to do.
Yep.
So I guess, yeah, essentially whatever I come up with is part of Love Ludi, which is nice.
And that's what you do now?
That's what I do now.
And so you had a store?
I had
and
Hutch.
That's closed? Yep.
So the physical store has closed. We're still doing fully online.
Yep.
Yeah, so Hutch store I had for the last 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now you're moving more into artwork and running workshops. And
yes.
Yeah, which is exciting.
It is.
Just moving into the passion work, which
Myself.
is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you for sharing all of that. I obviously had no idea, which is really nice to hear.
It's very interesting when you like, it just sort of like gives you context and measurement of like what you've actually done in life.
Yeah. And that's why I also like when I go on podcasts as well, because they're like, oh, tell us about you. And I always think like, my life's okay, I guess. And then when you say it and people are like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done some things. So a question I've got for about your story was, you were in that office. Obviously things happen with your dad and all that. Was it you took the break because you weren't enjoying it? Or because you did say it was your dream to be in that? Or was it you took the break to just...
So I took the break prior to him passing, because I was in Collingwood, obviously, and my family is down here in Geelong or Torquay. And I needed to sort of... There was just like a few moments leading up to the decision of leaving where I'd get a call and be like, you have to come down. Like, he's been rushed into emergency again. Like, this could happen at any moment. It was just like that uncertainty in me sort of being like, I don't want to be stuck in traffic on Langridge Street if the worst thing in my life was to ever happen. Like, I was like, I need to be with my family. And that was it. Like, that was my number one at the time. So
it wasn't because you weren't passionate about that.
Nah, loved it.
It was a decision to be with family at that time in moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a second thought. It was like, oh, I love this, but it was just like, this is a decision. Like,
what needed to be made at that moment because of the situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love design. Like, I'd definitely get back into it at some stage. And I guess it's like always something to fall back on as well. But right now it's Ludi.
Yeah, which is really cool, and I love now knowing what it means, that it's like whatever my imagination comes up with, which would be such a powerful thing, because you're like, whatever I can imagine, I can love it and do it. which seems to be something that holds a lot of people back. How do you, what's that mindset around that I can imagine it and then go do it? You've done a number of things. So like starting with the candles and the artwork and even your Instagram, you've got an amazing influence and impact and following.
Thank you.
And obviously we've talked beforehand, people are reaching out and saying how much you have impacted them.
Yeah.
What's that mindset on having that freedom to just adapt and change? Is it that I don't get too attached to whatever I'm doing, or it's just whatever my imagination comes up with, I'm going to just do it?
I mean, it is like essentially, it can backfire because it is so broad, but I guess it's that perception of what you think you can become. And I know that in itself is yet again broad, but if you have an idea and you have a passion, you can make it a reality. And I think that was like hugely presented when I went to NASA. Like, I remember writing...
Hang on, we didn't even touch on this.
Oh, sorry, yeah, wow. I also went to NASA.
Yeah. Why did you go to NASA?
Well, I'm a space nerd.
Yeah.
Self-confessed.
Is that the NASA jumper?
No, I should have worn my NASA jumper though.
I was thinking on my way here, I'm like, I should have got online and bought a NASA t-shirt. But anyway.
I probably would have stolen it.
No.
I do have a NASA jumper. I've got like NASA everything.
That's so cool.
What were we talking about? NASA.
Yeah, the whole NASA. Yep.
Cool. So I remember writing down ages ago, like in this little book, I have found this newfound love for writing, and I think I did a little while back, and the power of it. And I was just like, I want to go to NASA. Had no idea, like there was no footnotes on that message that I'd written. I was just like, I want to go to NASA. And then I'd planned to go to Mexico with a few friends. And I just thought one night, if I'm going to go that whole way, I need to like plan something here. So I looked at like when the next rocket launch was, and I started emailing the people at NASA like a crazy person. I'd always been idolized by Ed Gibson, who was one of the first people to build the Skylab, so the International Space Station.
Okay.
And I think I was idolized by him just by the impact of some of the things that he'd said and things that I'd read about him, and just his mindset in terms of like success and how to get there. And I found out deep in Google, stalking, that he was going to be at NASA for this rocket launch.
Whoa.
So I was like, right, I have a few days, because I'd booked my internal flights from LA to Mexico. I was like, I'm going to get to Florida.
Mm-hmm. And
Florida is nowhere near LA. It's ages away and it's expensive. So I'm just going to jump back a little bit. I sort of put it out into my Instagram world that I wanted to go to NASA, and everyone was like, we will get you there.
That's awesome.
So I like had my candles on sale, and I was doing artwork at the time, and I somehow saved up enough money to get from LA to NASA. Got to NASA. Actually, before I flew to Florida, I got an email to say that someone had knocked an aerial on the rocket and the launch was cancelled.
No.
I cried in like my Venice shoebox apartment. I was like, I'm going to go anyway. Got there. I'd booked like this fancy hotel for myself. This is like one of the best moments of my life that I'm sharing with you right now. Like, makes me so happy. Woke up at like 4 a.m. Got transferred to Merritt Island where NASA is. And so in the lead up to all of this, they were like, no, you can't meet like Ed Gibson. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
who are you?
Who are you? Like,
just because you got following on Instagram.
No.
Oh no, when was this?
Not last year, year before.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Yeah, so it's quite recent. Yeah. Probably had more followers then. They were like, no. I was like, cool. Well, what is he doing there? Like, is he doing a talk? Like, if so, I want to be part of it. Like, where will he be? Tell me. Anyway, got there. They were like, no. I was like, cool. Did all like the anti-gravity training and that sort of thing when I got there. Did a tour. Did the rocket garden. Didn't to go. And then I was sitting down having lunch, and I'd pretty much like mentally called it a day. And I was like eating my food in like the rocket garden, and then Ed Gibson walks past with his like 2 security guards. And I was like, can I swear?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go. Dropped my lunch, grabbed my bag, and ran after him. And I was like, excuse me, like this crazy girl. And the security guards turned around and they were like, what are you doing? I was like, can I just have like 2 minutes with Ed Gibson? They're like, yeah, you can have a photo, but he's going to this conference for NASA. And I was like, cool, just like 1 photo, like that's fine. And I was like, you are my idol. And I started like talking to him, and I started
It's never 1 photo. Yeah, take your opportunity.
No, I was like, take candid ones, like quick. And then I was like, you're my idol. Like you are, like I memorized his graduation speech and I recited it to him like on the spot. And he was like, hang on. And the security guard's like, all right, come on. Ed Gibson was like, just give me a few more minutes with this girl. And I was like, just chatting to him about like anything and everything. He's like, where are you from? Like, how far have you come? Told him it was a long way. And then he was like, do you want to join me in this conference?
Whoa.
So I get escorted into a NASA conference. I sit front and center, and yeah, I went back to my hotel room that night and cried. It was the best moment of my life.
Whoa, that is epic.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Good on you for having the confidence to just be like, nah, I'm going to say hello.
I was like, I have come all this way.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally halfway across the world.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do this. I had my new Nikes on. I was just like running. Like,
That's something for me where if I'm ever at a conference for personal development or something, was go up to the speakers. And it led to a
100%.
podcast with Hanade O'Brien, which is he's one of the idols in one of the top transformational coaches in Australia and New Zealand. And it came from like that, like just going up and doing it. So good on you. Like you never know what's going to come of that. And you got
have to go up
sit
to people.
in the. Yeah. Would you say you're living your purpose? And how so?
Yes. I think that comes from like not necessarily things that I'm like living, like present moment, but I think I know what it is and I know how to get there. So I'm aware of my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just comes from knowing myself and knowing what makes me happy.
I love that. What is success to you?
Wow. God, I had like really good answers for this, and now it's like all gone out.
Pressure of the camera.
I know. Success for me. Oh, I'm going to be really cliche and just say happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being true to myself and other people around me and being honest. Because then that's like self-success.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we can always like measure it by money and materialistic success in ways, but I think, me being true to myself would be successful for me. Absolutely. And I think I say that in a sense that it's something where I'm not really at yet, but I'm definitely getting there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
To dive a bit deeper now.
Deeper.
What is the worst thing that's ever happened to you? And how is that the best thing that's ever happened to you? You did mention
I
sort of this
did,
before.
yeah. It's sort of a weird thing to say though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. Perspective though.
yeah, I just guess how certain things impact your life. And, you know, I don't think I even realised half of the things that came from the strength that I'd gained from those awful times in my life and losing people. And until you sort of look back on it and you're like, well, you know, that was the catalyst of how my life has changed so much. And it actually has shaped me into the person that I am today. And I think that if you do go through things like that, and then you're proud of the person that you've become when you've come out the other side of that, then yeah, that's all that matters, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would say, yeah, the awful things happened have made me a
So what
better
about
person.
people, you were saying that when they come through that,
Mm-hmm.
you realise the strength from
Yes.
those situations. What about someone that's currently in that right now?
There's always like, you can always come out of it. Like, and it may not take the time that you put on yourself. Like, there is no pressure to be like, all right, you've got to be over this in like a year. And it's taken me probably like 5 years to realize that you go through things in life and they are awful at the time, but you can come out of it. Like every single like person you meet and emotion you feel is like a stepping stone to where you can be.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything you did in that time though to help you get through that? Was there like journaling maybe? Was there art?
I started yoga.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was something I started when my dad passed away. I went through a pretty awful situation with a friend overseas, which also like impacted me massively. And then I starting yoga, just slowing down. Like, I feel like there's this, well, it's getting more common now, slowing down. You know, there's a lot of society pressure. People like measure themselves on how hard they work, and
The hustle, the
slowing
grind.
down is so important. I did a lot of yoga, a lot of like retreats, and going within. It's corny
Love
as
that.
it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's with
Yeah.
self-analysis and self-awareness to then get through what you're getting through.
Sometimes, it's hard to externalize internal feelings and go in.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, I wrote this down. I actually should have checked my notes because I wrote down something great for this.
Do you have it with you?
I think I do. But now that I've talked it up, I'll probably go read it and be like, oh, is that it? Someone once said to me, what's meant for you won't go past you.
Ooh, I like it.
But I also feel like that can be interpreted to someone that they can just sit back.
Yep.
And that's definitely not the case. I'm going to check my notes really quick because it
That's
might be good. Okay, the best advice is probably the energy that you put out is the energy you'll get back. Good? Was it worth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I honestly believe that.
Explain for the listeners.
I used to have this mindset that like I don't know. I used to have a much more negative mindset than I do now. And I was very like closed off. I wasn't open. I wouldn't talk to people the way I do now. And just I've noticed in my life in the last few years, putting like that beautiful positive energy out there, and that comes from just me purely being me. like not holding myself back, not trying to be someone that I'm not. If you're good to people and you're honest and you're loving, it will come back to you. And like certain people will find their way into your life, and it's just bloody awesome.
No,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I think I learned really early on from like Tony Robbins, where focus goes,
Love
energy
him.
flows, and
Yes.
it's you look at a heap of cars going past, and you go, okay, Jenna, focus on all the white cars, and you go, okay, white, and then I say, close your eyes. How many yellow cars were there? And you're like, I don't know, because I wasn't focusing on them.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're looking for the negative and you're putting negative out there, what do you think you're going to find?
Yeah. Love him.
Yeah, me too.
He's
Me
like-
too.
His
Yeah.
warm-up things that he does. Like whenever I think of Tony Robbins, I just think of that weird warm-up he does. Like before he goes on stage, it's like breathe rapidly.
I love it. It's
yeah,
the
it's great.
priming. Priming is the word. To
Yeah.
prime yourself.
But even just like people like that, like watching documentaries, like listening to podcasts, like familiarizing yourself with people that want to do better, and
It's that energy
absorbing
and value.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that's something like that I haven't probably even realized until just now, until we've started talking about
Yeah.
it. Like you pick up so much good in other people and you absorb it for yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
then you give it off to other people.
Yeah, that's how I think I am today, because I've surrounded myself with incredible people and learnt off them.
Yeah.
And that could be podcasts. We'll talk about, we
Yeah.
love Aubrey Marcus. Shout out.
Yes.
I've listened to his podcast and all these other amazing people that I look up to as mentors.
Yeah.
We don't talk one-on-one, but because of them sharing, I've learnt so much then implemented in my life.
Absolutely.
Now, how can we also implement that into our everyday life in terms of social media?
Was that a question?
Yeah.
Being honest with like what you put out there.
Yep. What about in terms of what's on our feed, who we're following? Would it be the same? Would it be if you follow those people that inspire you, you will then start to take on that as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you extract aspects of them. Like that's why you follow people, because they're inspiring to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why I think that's why I started following you. Like, like you
Cheeky
find
plug.
someone I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of what they've got to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like used to follow like, dare I say it, like Kardashians and just people like that, and I gained nothing from that.
Mm.
And my mindset has changed so much with who I surround myself with, and that can be on social media, and who I listen to and who I get advice off, and yeah.
Thank you. It's something that I found in my social media, where it was like, I kept having, girls, athletes and all this that just wasn't, but it wasn't adding any, like, they're good looking.
Yeah, like bikini girls and stuff, yeah.
Bikini, normal looking, dressing women as well.
Yeah.
But all these things they were nice to look at, but they weren't adding anything
Yeah.
to me. The same with certain people, whether they were friends or acquaintances, they weren't posting anything that really resonated with me.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to unfollow people online and also offline who are not giving good energy to you.
I think it's more than okay. I think it's healthy.
Yeah,
Like, it's very healthy.
We need to, like, I know I need to go back through my Instagram feed and take out a few and unfollow.
Do a cull.
Yeah, it's not a personal thing where it's like, I dislike you, I hate you.
Yeah.
It's that, I need to protect what I look at. How much are you on social media?
All the time.
Same.
Yeah.
And people can say, you need to limit your time. I run my business and connect with amazing people
Yeah.
like yourself through social media.
Is like the totality of my business right now. Like I need to be on it.
Yeah, and that, I think that's perfectly okay. And this is even more the reason, because I think a lot of people are, a lot of you guys as listeners, I think you're on social media. Like, why else would you be listening to our stuff? That too. But you didn't hear about us on the radio. You've seen us on social media. And by surrounding yourself with, and this is why my feed is set up how it is. Every second post is a quote. And I post every single day because I want to subconsciously instill affirmations into people, into their minds, but then also share my story so that it can share maybe someone that's going through the same thing to help them through it. Or an insight or something I listen to and share that, because that's what I love looking at.
And that's a choice. Like that's your choice to share that, and that's someone else's choice to follow you and be a part of that. And social media is a choice. Like you can unfollow, you can follow, you can, and it's being aware of, like I've noticed it before with like, here we go, like an ex-boyfriend or like someone, like you scroll through your feed and you get that pit in your stomach, and it's just like, be aware of how you feel when you're seeing these things on your feed. And it could be like, you know, seeing some beautiful, fit human being that makes you feel shitty about yourself. Like,
if it inspires you, awesome.
Absolutely.
If not,
acknowledge how you feel when you're like looking at that stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I love that. What advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
Wow, 16.
Mm-hmm. Go back and talk to little Jenna.
God knows what she was doing. Playing with Ludi, probably. God, I used to be so impacted by what people thought of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I would try and like mold and shift and shape myself to impress them or give them a part of myself that wasn't necessarily organic or natural. And I think it delayed a lot of my self-growth, and it put a lot of blocks into me becoming my true self and who I actually was. So I think trust who you are, like trust how you feel, follow your heart, follow like what makes you happy, because there's so many factors, and especially at that age where you're so like like impacted by other people and the world, and you honestly feel like at that age and at that time that things like that define you so much, and they're like the totality of how your life will play out, and that's not the case. Like, love yourself. Yeah, figure it out early, because it took me a while. Yeah.
That is so powerful. I was loving all of that. Like, when I look back at the footage and I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. Would your 16-year-old self listen to that though?
I would hope so.
Because why were those things coming up? Was it because of the fear of judgment, of what people would say if you were who you really were?
Yeah, fear of judgment, fear of not fitting in.
Yep.
Uncertainty of like actually getting to know myself and who I was and what I liked and who I wanted to be around, and actually like I prevented to getting to know myself a lot. Because I was too busy trying to mold and shift myself into, you know, that boy that liked me at 16. Like, what? Where is he now? Nowhere. Yeah.
I know the feeling a lot. I think it was only maybe bits of the layers of the masks that I was wearing for girls, and for my parents to be a certain way. I used to straighten my hair.
Wow.
I've got curly hair.
Yeah, I saw a photo on your Instagram of like an afro.
Yeah, okay, that's way back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's curly.
But I saw it.
Yes, you did. That was wild. That was really young. But even when I got
you
to like,
chose to share that.
yes, when I was 16, I would straighten my hair every day to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And I got a girlfriend. I cut the afro. I got a girlfriend. And I went, I have to be this.
Yeah.
Then I get loved.
Yeah.
And I get a girlfriend, which is all you want at 16, to have a partner. And I kept that for so long. All this stuff that I do and share, I held back for so long because I was like, what would my parents think if I do meditations? What will my friends think? I had my friends come to the Bloom event last week.
Yeah.
And they were like, man, we've never been to one of your events or anything like that. And I don't judge, like, you know, if it's not for them, it's not for them. And they're like, yeah, we're so proud of you that you're doing what you love. Same as my parents.
Yeah.
They might not understand what I do. Like, you talk to people and put it online. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. It's like radio, but like, it's cooler. And it's not the traditional way that they expected me to go, or I didn't go to uni or anything like that. And everyone thought I was going to be a soccer player, and, you know, that was cool when I was 18, but not now for me. And, yeah, once I started removing all that, I could actually be who I wanted to be.
Yeah, it's like these made-up benchmarks that we make for ourselves because we think that other people have made them for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no. It's like I used to hide all my crystals in my house before my friends would come over. Like, oh my God, I can't. Let my friends know
they can't see that.
Or
They'll
like
think I'm a
sage
witch.
sticks.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I have incense. Like, I've like a
Are you a witch?
Yes.
Okay. Thought so.
That'd be
You
cool.
heard it first.
Plot twist.
Yeah. I've got all this stuff. I wouldn't show the world that stuff
Yeah.
because it's okay for a woman to be a witch. What if I'm a witch?
I love that.
For me,
like more.
it's okay. I'm a witch. That's me bending again to the approval. No, I'm not a witch.
No,
I'm just conscious,
but
Carlo.
if you straightened your hair, no. Just kidding.
Well, look, I might do it for a day. It's so much effort though. That took me like 20 minutes every time. Like now, I just have a shower and it's done.
I used to straighten my hair.
It's sweet. Yeah, it's natural. It's good. It's effortless.
I don't even wear makeup. I'm wearing makeup now, but I don't even wear makeup anymore. Like
neither. But yeah, no, it's because you've stepped into a place of confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just knowing who I am, like genuinely knowing, because there are times where you like do delve into things that are uncomfortable and you don't know things till you've tried them, in a sense, like yoga or meditating, and it's not for everyone, but it's bloody good.
So how would someone then take those steps to know who they are, to be more comfortable and have more confidence in who they are?
I think just becoming aware of how you feel when situations arise and when you're around certain people and when you're doing certain things, how you're actually feeling. Because this whole like gut feeling thing, I was never in tune with, and now I am. I'm like, oh, so that's the gut feeling.
This is what they were talking about.
This is what they were talking about.
Yeah. So let's give an example. If someone's around people and they feel like they're hiding who they really are and trying to be something else to keep people happy, would you say that's a good sign to be like you're not being congruent to who you are?
Yes.
Yeah. If someone feels like I can't share what I really want to share with someone or the world because I'll be judged and all of that, what would they then do? Is just become aware of that and go, okay, why am I feeling that way?
Awareness, and not like forcefully continue to put yourself in situations like that.
Yeah.
Because when you do feel that normality, like being around people, it's so good.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend about this the other day. It's like now I'm in a place where, and look, I've done a lot of inner work, deep work, all of
Yeah.
that. It didn't happen overnight. And for me, it was like when I got to a place of knowing who I am, know thyself, be thyself, love thyself, I was like, I'm going to wear my hair curly. I'm going to dress how I want to dress.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I want to do. If people like me, great.
Come for me if you don't.
If they don't,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I've just weeded out the people. And it
Yeah.
can, look, it can come in the form of friends.
Yeah.
Your best friends will love you
No matter what.
no matter what you choose
Yeah.
to, or what situation you put yourself in.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And for me, it was like even when I decided not to play soccer anymore,
Yeah.
I had the best support around me. Maybe at first they were like, what? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing meditations? But afterwards it was like, as long as you're happy.
Yeah.
And it took removing myself from some groups. It took, not being friends with certain people.
Yes.
But they weeded
That's a big
themselves
one.
out anyway. Dating. If a girl doesn't respond, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You've now just removed yourself from that. I can then talk to someone else.
Yeah.
It's why. And again, I'm in any situation, whether it's business, whether it's speaking, whether it's dating,
Relationships, yeah.
I can be who I am. And again, if someone likes it, awesome.
It's
If
so
someone-
refreshing.
Yeah, if someone's going to book me for a speaking gig and they don't like who I am, that doesn't align.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you rather someone like you for who you are than like you for something you're not and have to keep that pressure
100%.
on you? Yeah.
And continually, put this facade of someone that you are not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 5 years ago, the thought of rocking up here and sitting down with someone that I have never met, chatting about my life, I would have had anxiety for weeks. And now I was like, is it 3 o'clock yet? I can't wait. And it's just surrounding yourself with the right people and energies.
Yeah. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. And it comes from knowing who I am as well and being able to talk about that now.
Mhm.
So it's it's a vibe.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It creates a safe
We're a
space,
vibe.
especially if we can share openly with each other. Not that we're
Yeah.
even when we're not recording, I see you. I can connect with you.
Yeah.
That's the vibe. Not, I'm going to hide all this stuff because I want you to see me as something different.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing. And that term when people say, it's effortless? It is.
It is.
You don't worry about what are they thinking and all of that and judgment. I'm not judging you. I accept you. I forgive you. I love you for everything you've done in your life. Now be you.
Yeah. Now go.
No go.
Be you.
No go.
Yeah, it's a nice place to be.
Yeah. How can people find more fulfillment in their life?
Fulfillment. Doing things you love.
Mhm.
Art workshops.
Yeah.
Fulfillment. Whew. So you're going to have to edit out this long.
Nope, that's right.
Finding out what you love and doing more of it.
Mm-hmm.
If that's going out for a nice dinner, treat yourself.
You're going to be treating yourself every night. Yeah.
You have no money.
Find a career in eating food
Yeah.
at restaurants. Yeah.
Figure out what you love.
Yeah.
And do more of it.
Mm-hmm. How can people find their purpose?
Ooh. Being honest with yourself.
Yep.
And that will come.
Is there any questions you could ask yourself just to be honest with yourself about?
What do you actually want to do in life? Someone asked me that right before I started Love Ludi. I was walking along the beach with him and I was just a mess. I'm not going to say his name because he'll get a full thrill out of this, but
Shout out to the unknown friend.
And I was a mess. I was so lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And he was like, what do you actually want to do in life? How do you foresee your life? He's like, go home, get an exercise book, and just write out whatever comes to your mind. And I did it, and that's honestly where like Lovelady branched from.
Mm-hmm.
And just, yeah, that like vulnerable moment where I was like, oh my God, I don't know. And just sitting down and having that moment to be like, what do I actually want to do? Because it's not a 9-to-5 job.
Mm.
Never. Yeah. And even though like I can sit here and not, like I can honestly say that I don't have it all figured out, but that's okay. Like I know what excites me. I know what makes me happy and what, sets my heart on fire. And that there's something in that to look into and follow to. So
Mm-hmm. I love that so much, and it's like you've shown that in what you've done in your life. If something else has come up, you're like, it's okay to move on and adapt to the next thing, and it's leading you along that journey of now you're doing art workshops. Probably when you started making candles, you probably weren't thinking of art workshops.
No.
Yeah, but let it evolve. Let it change.
I've never painted before in my life.
You've got to go see her artwork. Like, it's
Never.
insane.
So I started painting because I wanted to design my own boxes for my candles.
Yep.
So I went to the art store and I bought a whole bunch of paints and started painting and started sharing it on Instagram. And then I go to the art store and like buy all these random products that I just had no idea like how they even worked or what they even did. And I just remembered the girl at the art store would be like, oh, like you use it this way, but whatever you do, like don't mix it with water or like don't get it near water. So I'd be driving home and I'm like, I'm going to mix it with water. Like I'm going to see what happens. Like it came back to that like chemistry, like obsession and wondering like how products work and why. And I think that's why my art is so unique, because I've like carved out that trial and error.
Yeah.
And just sort of done it my way and experimented and got creative.
It's that curiosity that then created the magic that
Everyone's
you create.
going to go to the art store and like use all the products in the wrong way now. Don't do that.
Jenna said it, not me.
Yeah.
What is consciousness to you? What does it mean to be conscious?
Being aware of your feelings and emotions and how they affect you. And how they affect other people.
Whoa.
Just wow, Carlo.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and how other people's emotions and feelings affect you. I like so much, and I know I've spoken about it a lot throughout the podcast, but it's awareness. Being aware of how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it. What's the impact you want to have on people, the community, and the world?
Oh my gosh, I saw this question too. I want to impact people to be the best version of themselves. I want to impact communities to impact the people in the communities. The communities are so powerful, and I didn't realize this until I started Cleaner Coast, which is a non-for-profit cleanup in communities and local areas. The power of a community can affect, like it's affected me just from doing that non-for-profit. Having that community sense, people can grow and people can learn from. The world. Stop using plastic, guys. It's real bad. Just play your part.
Yep. Be
conscious about what you're doing and how it's impacting the world and the people around you. Be conscious. Conscious collection.
The Conscious Podcast with Conscious Carlo.
Yay.
And Conscious Jenna.
Car wash Carlo.
Doesn't have the same ring, but yeah. Coffee with Carlo. Car washing with Carlo.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing. It's Where can people connect with you, find you, come to your workshops, all of that?
So my main platform is Instagram. So at @loveludi on Facebook. Workshops are all through my website, loveludi.com. And there'll be, I was about to say hopefully, there will be some artwork up on there soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, setting goals.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Write it
Well,
down.
I want to acknowledge you for your time and your energy today, and openness and willingness to share so much. And I know you've just become a pro at coming on podcasts after 3.
3 in 3 weeks.
Yeah. For me, it's really special to spend time with people and do this. And especially because we've never met before.
Yeah.
We've just connected on Instagram, and to hear your story, like, I feel so connected to you, and I'm sure the listeners do too. And there's so many bits of wisdom and value and inspiration in that story, and I'm proud of you for who you've become, and I'm so grateful for you and to you for sharing all of this with us. And you're doing incredible things. That impact is definitely going to happen. I can't wait to collaborate in the future, and thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome.
That was the best.
Yeah, woo! Quoted, the best.
Yeah. Quote, unquote. Testimonial.
So if anything in this episode has triggered you, inspired you, or stood out to you, make sure you reach out to Jenna, to myself. We love connecting with people. We love hearing that what we're putting out there is affecting people in a positive way and inspiring way. And share this around. If you want people to hear this as well, if you think this would inspire people that you know, take a screenshot. Put it on your Instagram story. Tag us, Carlo _Cirillo, The Conscious Podcast, Love Ludi.
Connect.
Conscious car washing.
I love connecting with people online, obviously.
Yeah, it's honestly, it means so much to me, us, to connect with people and to hear that what we're putting out there is impacting people. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, because there's other epic conversations just like this one coming out with incredible people. And leave a review. I would love that. Jenna would love that too. To read a review. 5 stars, of course. Can't be any minimum than that. And connect. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I have, and I can't wait to.
I loved it.
Can't wait to catch up more.
Can I say it was my favourite podcast?
You can. I'm going to quote that. This is going to be clipped. And
I'll put it in my Insta bio with the link below. My favourite podcast so far.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, and thank you guys for listening. Until next time,
Thank you.
peace.
Bye.